Hello and welcome to the history of Star Trek. Today's episode, Daniels. Crewman Daniels. And here we go. The Temporal agent, known only as Daniels, was an operative from the 31st century and a major player in the Temporal Cold War. Daniels had frequent interactions with the crew of the Enterprise NX-01 in the 2150s, and often assisted them in preventing temporal incursions by various factions in the Cold War. Daniels first came into contact with the Enterprise crew in 2151, when he infiltrated the ship posing as a crewman. Working undercover as a steward, Daniels had been assigned to the Enterprise to capture Silik, the leader of the Suliban Cabal, who they knew would be boarding the ship at some point. Silik did indeed board the Enterprise several months into their mission, posing as a pilgrim, at which point Daniels revealed himself and the true nature of his mission to Captain Archer. While Daniels and Archer worked together to capture him, Silik confronted Daniels and shot him with a particle weapon, apparently killing him. Despite this, Daniels reappeared the next year, taking Archer back in time 10 months in order to have a conversation with him in secret from the other factions in the Cold War. When Archer expressed surprise at Daniels' survival, believing that Silik had killed him, Daniels only responded with, "He did," in a manner of speaking. Daniels instructed Archer in the construction of two extremely advanced quantum beacons, which the Enterprise used to detect a cloaked Suliban stealth cruiser, and proved the Cabal had attempted to frame the Enterprise for the destruction of the Paragon II mining colony. Afterwards, when Silik threatened to destroy Enterprise unless Archer handed himself over, Daniel transported Archer forward in time to the 31st century in an attempt to protect him. Daniel's actions had disastrous consequences, however, in that removing Archer from the timeline changed history in such a way as to destroy Daniel's civilization. With no way to return Archer to his own time and restore the timeline, Daniels and Archer were forced to improvise, using Archer's communicator and a hand scanner to construct himself a makeshift portal communicator, which Archer used to communicate with his crew in the 22nd century. Archer's crew managed to receive a piece of technology that Daniel had left in his quarters on the Enterprise, and tricked Silik into interfacing it with the technology that he used to communicate with the Cabal benefactors in the 28th century. This temporarily turned Silik's technology into a means by which Archer could return to his own time, defeating Silik and correcting the damage to the timeline. In 2153 AD, Daniels returned to the Enterprise, which was in the midst of searching for the Xindi weapon in the Dalfaric Expanse, to inform Archer that they had detected 3 Xindi reptilians on Earth in the year 2004. As Daniels could not secure authorization from his superiors to travel back in time himself, he offered to send Archer back in time to stop the Xindi, who were attempting to synthesize a bioweapon in secret, which to destroy humanity. He supplied Archer and T'Pol with temporal tags to mark anything that didn't belong in that time for retrieval, and a temporal beacon with which to signal Daniels when their mission was complete. After the successful completion of their mission, Daniels returned to Archer and T'Pol, along with the Xindi bodies and all of their equipment, to Enterprise only months after they had originally been transported back in time. The next year, Daniels returned to plead with Captain Archer not to undertake a suicide mission to destroy the Xindi weapon, explaining that Archer's role in history was too important for him to sacrifice himself. To make his point, Daniels transported Archer to the USS Enterprise J, a Starfleet vessel in service during the 26th century, so Archer could witness the Battle of Proclon 5, wherein the forces of the Federation defeated the Spear Builders. Daniels explained that the Spear Builders were attempting to manipulate the Xindi into destroying Earth so that the Federation would never come into existence, and they could invade the galaxy unopposed. Daniels attempted to convince Archer that the only way to defeat the Spear Builders was to form an alliance with the Xindi, but Archer refused, unwilling to risk the destruction of Earth. In the hopes that Archer would change his mind, however, Daniels supplied him with a Xindi initiation medal which belonged to one of the crew members on the Enterprise J, revealing that in the 26th century the Xindis were members of the Federation. The medal later proved to be an important component in saving Earth, as Archer used it to convince the Xindi primate Degra that humans and Xindis were destined to form an alliance. Alternate World War II. Later that year, as Captain Archer was preparing to lead a team to board the Xindi weapon and destroy it, Daniels transported him to 2161 to witness the Federation charter being assigned, attempting to convince Archer to send someone else on the mission. Daniels explained that without Archer, the Federation would never come into being, and that it was too dangerous to risk his life. Archer refused, however, feeling that it was his responsibility to destroy the weapon. Later, Archer trapped on board the exploding weapon. Daniels transported him and the Enterprise in time to 1944 in an alternate timeline created by the multiple temporal incursions by the various factions in the Cold War. Hey, thank you for watching the history of Star Trek. Special thanks to Memory Alpha and all contributors for all information you heard today. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you can. If you have, thank you. And have a nice day. Bye-bye.